Covering 16 square miles on the western coast of Portugal, Porto is a popular tourist destination due to the variety of attractions it is capable of providing. From beaches and wine tours to historic buildings and museums, it's a city that has a little bit of everything to offer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through Porto on a virtual tour, pointing out interesting features and landmarks, and telling you about all of the characteristics of some of the city's most inviting and fascinating areas. I'll begin at the heart of the city, in Porto's historic centre. Designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1996, this part of the city is simply brimming with history, dating all the way back to medieval times. Cathedrals, churches, palaces, historic railway stations, and even a museum housed inside of a historic building are just some of the attractions waiting to be discovered by any history or culture aficionados visiting the city. We now move slightly south of the main city centre to the district of Ribeira. While still covered by the World Heritage designation of the historic centre, the experience you will find here is slightly different. Situated on the bank of the Douro River, this is one of the oldest areas in the city. Many of the buildings aren't perhaps as spectacular as they are at the heart of Porto, but they feature just as much history and display the same diverse art style. From two destinations in the heart of the city, known for their rich and diverse history and culture, we now move to the western coast of the city, to a region known for something else entirely. Here you will find the district of Foz Do Douro, often shortened locally to just Foz, a place known for featuring the best beaches the city has to offer. We're now going to jump back inland for our next destination, to the southeastern part of the city in the neighborhood of Bonfim. Similarly to Ribeira, it is located close to the heart of the historic center of the city, and is filled largely by locals. However, where it differs is that it hasn't yet been embraced by tourists, meaning it is an even quieter and more traditional neighborhood than we have seen so far. If you like the sound of a previous destination, but would prefer to be a little closer to the beach and the coast, then perhaps the neighborhood of Lordelo Do Ouro will be more to your taste. Located on the eastern border of Foz do Douro, Lordelo do Ouro will have you just minutes from the most fantastic beaches the city has to offer, all while staying in a more traditional area, with a quieter, local vibe to it. Boavista lies immediately to the east of our previous destination. An area located between the coast, the inner city and the airport, it is a destination that is ideal for people who want to do a little bit of everything the city has to offer during their stay, while not having to worry about driving too far to and from the airport. We move now to the very eastern part of the city in the district of Campanha. Being located right on the outskirts of Porto, the region has a very residential feel to it. This makes it an ideal spot to stay for those looking to be completely out the way of the hustle and bustle of the tourist areas. This also comes with the added benefit of accommodation being on the cheaper side, though it is worth noting that the choices are more limited, making booking in advance a must if you plan to stay here. Our next destination is very much like the previous one when discussing its main selling points. This time found in the very north of the city, it is another residential area with a smaller range of lower-priced accommodation. There are two distinct differences between it and Campanha though. First off, being in the western side of the city, it is much closer to the beaches in Foz do Douro. That means you have a little more choice if you plan to spend a few days exploring the sights and others lazing on the sand. Our penultimate destination of Massarelos is located in the south of the city, bordered to the south by the Douro River, and to the west by the neighborhood of Lordelo do Ouro. Massarelos is similar to its neighbor to the west in many ways, being a centrally located destination, which gives you easy access to the majority of the city. However, what sets it apart is that it is known as the creative heart of the city. For our next destination, I am going to suggest a location that is technically outside the city limits of Porto, yet still within its metropolitan area, on the other side of the Douro River, Vila Nova De Gaia. While I would normally avoid doing this, it's a destination that features one of the biggest draws in the entire city, which is its incredible collection of wine production facilities and lodges, with at least 50 in the region. The neighborhood of Cedofeita encompasses 6 parishes merged together, which make up one of the trendiest parts of the city. Arts galleries, museums, gardens, cafes, markets and independent shops make it a fabulous place to have a relaxing break. Situated on the banks of the River Douro, Miragaia is a historic 14th century neighborhood, featuring winding cobbled streets and tall picturesque houses. Churches, museums and palaces provide the chance to delve into the area's history, while souvenir shops give you the opportunity to take a piece of history home with you. Its riverfront location also makes it perfect for hiring a boat or joining a tour to cruise up and down and see the sights in style. Paranhos is another largely residential neighborhood, located to the northeast of the city center. The primary reason most people visit the area is that it is home to the University of Porto. This has led to the population being made up of large numbers of students. Porto is a fantastic city, full of character, culture, history and attractions to entertain people of all ages, tastes and backgrounds. The only hard thing about choosing to visit here is knowing the best place to stay, to maximize the enjoyment you get from the trip, but hopefully, this video will have helped you decide on that. Now all that's left is to start getting everything booked, so you can go and experience it all for yourself as soon as possible.